So what is up, you guys? My name is MBYO, and today I'm gonna bring you guys the start to a new channel. Something that I want to go ahead and explore myself personally. I want to go ahead and get into sports coverage, and I thought that would be a really good idea for a YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Again, the channel's name is MBYO Media, and what we're basically gonna do is sports coverage. So what's going to work is we're going to go ahead and cover basketball at the moment because that's kind of what I want to initiate with. I think that's honestly one of the most media-driven sports. So therefore, I want to go ahead and drop my 2 cents on what's going on in the NBA, kind of share my opinion about what's going on and my looks and takes on the actual league. So again, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. How it's going to work is we're going to go ahead and jump. So we're going to go ahead and start with a segment called Post Dribble. And it's basically what's covering the lifestyle, what's going on in basketball, and what happens after the buzzer itself. So Post Buzzer, pretty good name. I think that it has a lot of potential. So let's go ahead and without further ado, jump into Post Buzzer. Cue that intro. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's go ahead and jump into a few stories here. We got a few things to cover with ESPN. We got a few things to cover with Fox News, Bleacher Report, and I want to talk about a little something that I got cooking up there. So, let's go ahead and jump into this thing right here, the Kyrie versus D'Angelo and how Brooklyn might handle a difficult decision. This is a story by Zach Lowe. So you guys know free agency is approaching the NBA. And after a draft, which nobody expected things to go that type of way, we're all kind of shook. The league has had major changes recently, and I think although a lot of people said that it wasn't a star-driven draft, I really do think that we got a lot of potential and a lot of new things and good things. So I think it's great. I think we got a real good season to look into. We got a lot of major moves, a lot of major players playing, and a lot of big things happening. So one of the main candidates at the moment, due to cap space, due to the salary space that they have, is the Brooklyn Nets with 68,000, 68 million, if I'm not mistaken, and the Knicks with 70 million. So they're looking to sign 2 major players. As you guys know, though, D'Angelo Russell was part of that roster last year, and he made some major moves. Off of the Lakers, you know, that whole situation that happened with Trae Young and whatnot. He was, again, as Magic said, he was an immature guy. He was just out of high school, he was just out of college ball. He didn't really know what he was doing. And he affected his name. He stained himself, really. He took an L. Just portrayed in the league, the way that people feel about him and whatnot. And, you know, it's like he went down he was sent over to the Nets. And working with that organization, he's become an exceptional player. Real good player. And the Nets, you know, they're trying to go ahead and build. They're the underdogs in the league. You know, they always have it under the Knicks being the main New York team and playing in such a dominant market like New York. So in our reality, they're just trying to do the thing, you know. They're trying to come out. They're trying to do their moves. They did that big thing with Paul Pierce and Garnett way back when the franchise started, and you know that's kind of like the imprint that they started with. That's kind of what they wanted to shake the ground with. But now they're actually trying to go ahead and be big ballers, especially at the point, at this given point where the Knicks are not in the best state. They feel like they could be a serious contender for the state of New York. You know, they could show face. Again, Brooklyn has a history of having great teams, like when the Brooklyn Dodgers were around, and they have the culture. They're really a sport-driven city, you know. So in our reality, I personally am looking for the Knicks to go and do their things, make bigger moves, and grow as an agency. I think they have a really good franchise put together and a bright future. You know, they have a really young squad. and they're playing good. They really are good, and with the help of their head coach, they've made an impact. Nevertheless, they made it all the way to the playoffs, knocked out first round, but they put up a good fight. Nevertheless, so now the question comes: do they want to go ahead and stick with Kyrie, or stick with D'Angelo, or kind of free him that way they could get some cap space and try to sign Kyrie, and eventually try to go for Durant, which is what everybody's talking about. As you guys know, in the NBA playoffs, we've unfortunately saw the fall of KD, spraining his Achilles heel, and overall, it's gonna affect the NBA. He's a major player. Honestly, I don't think that he's gonna be affected as bad by the injury. I mean, it's gonna have some type of impact to his game, but in all reality, being the player that he is, I don't think that it directly affects him as someone that's more athletic. So, for example, like D Rose, where he was on the break all the time. You know what I mean? That's his game. I feel like Durant has a more versatile game, so therefore he doesn't really need he's not really gonna get affected by that, right? So now comes the question again. We're back at it. Kyrie or D'Angelo? Obviously, if you look at the stats of the books, Kyrie is a superstar, and they just want to know. You know what I mean? They want to take this jump. They want to do it. D'Angelo showed that he could play. He's a loyal player. He's done a lot for the franchise in the past year, putting up big numbers. And Kyrie isn't in the best place with the Celtics. But again, that being said, that incident that he had with the Celtics did not do him the best. It was not the best thing that it could have happened for him in his career. And in our reality, I feel like it really stained him again. Once again, he's just a player that got lost in it, And again, Kyrie's an amazing player. Kyrie is insanely good. You just gotta pair him. He wanted to be a top dog. He wanted to run a city, and he got the chance to do it in Boston. Although he didn't choose the city of Boston, he was traded there. He actually put up big numbers, did his thing, and even though the team itself played better without him, he still contributed. They don't have the best chemistry, and I get that. So although Kyrie didn't play his game the way that he normally does, you can't stop thinking that he's a really good player. You know what I mean? He's still a really, really good asset to any team at that. You know what I mean? With what the Nets are trying to do is actually pair him with KD, which won't be playing the following season, but will be playing the season after that. Hopefully, if all goes well. Or maybe even late this season and he has a speedy recovery. But the point is, he's not projected to play in the next season. That's as blank and as bare as it's going to get. That being said, I personally think that Kyrie is the better option for Brooklyn. Although D'Angelo Russell did do his thing on the city and wore it up the back. I know that a lot of people wouldn't, let's say, want this. They wouldn't agree with this per se, because it kind of sucks that a team has done, a player has done so much for a team and they just let him go like that. You know what I mean? It kind of sucks. But it's the NBA. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a business. You want to see your players go to the right place. You want to see your players do this. You want to see your players do that. But the franchise is just trying to win. They're trying to win games. That's the business. That's what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to accomplish. And the better asset, honestly, is Kyrie. If they could go for it and sign KD in the process, which will actually incentivize KD to come over here because he's really close with Kyrie, as we've seen, and they have similar play styles that actually go along very well, I think that it's a good move. And D'Lo is going to have eyes on him. You know what I mean? It's not that he's not going to fall into a prosperous franchise. Clippers have eyes on him. Los Angeles Lakers have eyes on him with pairing him back with LeBron and Anthony Davis. You know, he's set to meet with the Lakers already, like with LeBron and the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like a one-on-one meeting like that. So it's not that he's not gonna go somewhere that's gonna suit him. I feel like he actually should go to LA because he has a legacy there. He kind of ruined himself there in theory, and he wants to show the people, like, you know what I mean? Like that was his worst. So if he could come and overdo that, or not kind of undo it, but like shine in that city, it's kind of like left in the past. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of left in the shadows. So I think that it's a really good move for not only LA, but for the Nets to go ahead and stick with Kyrie. The Nets to stick with Kyrie and D'Angelo to LA. You know, like whether it's the Clippers, whether it's the Lakers, I think it's a good fit for both of those teams very well. Although that D'Angelo has a really good thing going for him with like younger squads. Like since he's young, you know, he's only 23 years old. He has potential to play with the Clippers, I think, you know. And honestly, like with the cap space that they have, I think that they could even offer him and Kawhi, if Kawhi does choose to go to the Clippers. I think they have enough space for both of them, which would be a dynamic team. It would be a really, really good team. Top contenders in the West, definitely. You know, it's tough to see the two really good players of the East going to the West, but which is oversaturated as is right now. But I mean, hey, you know, it is what it is. It's the game. And without that, you know, like there's nothing much that we could do. So we got some breaking news. Big AD making the headlines. He's doing his thing. He's doing it right. You know what I mean? He's shaking the media. As you guys know, AD was traded. Not officially, but he's en route to be traded to the LA Lakers to go ahead and play alongside LeBron. And as part of that contract, he gets to get you know that bonus for getting traded. That's 15% of your contract, if I'm not mistaken. So he was entitled to like $4 million. It's a pro bono. He could either accept it or deny it. And the Lakers are lucky because he actually denied it. He denied $4 million bonus for the sake of playing and making a better team around the Lakers. $4 million. So you guys know this is kind of like it's actually really good news for the franchise. That's gonna allow them to build more and have more have a better cap, you know. This kind of takes it in. Now the next thing is it could either go down on July 6th, which is when it's set to be done, or it could be dragged out to June, the end of June. If it's dragged out to the end of June, that increases their salary cap to about $32 million. And if they do it before that, that kind of leaves them with 21. Now with him officially denying the trade bonus, that would be somewhere along the lines of 25 and 37. That's a lot of room. 36, my bad. That's a lot of room. You could do a lot with that type of money, especially with where the Lakers are right now. They do need it. They need it desperately. That's going to help them in big, major ways to make certain moves that need to be made to be able to ensure a better season. But honestly, let's go ahead and stay on the topic a little bit, because Anthony Davis he's just getting traded to the Lakers now. Like, he's just coming on board, just getting to start with LeBron. He's already giving up so much for this team. He's doing the most to be able to ensure that he has a good season with the Lakers. And that's just amazing. That's great. You know what I mean? It really shows who Anthony Davis is. He shows the dedication to the game. He's not a sellout. You know what I mean? He's a player that's dedicated and he wants to get something done and he's gonna go for it. Think about that. He gave $4 million, a $4 million bonus. I get it. He's an NBA player. He makes that like over and over again. Like, I get it. But still, it's $4 million that he could have in his pocket. That's a bonus. That's a little nice. You know what I mean? So, I'm really glad this happened. Really good news. I personally think that it's amazing. I think that it's a step in the right direction. Really puts the Lakers in a good position as of now. Let's see where the trade goes. Down, that's still in question. If it does go down on the 6th, then they have a little bit more space now thanks to Davis and his move. If it goes down in July, if it goes down towards the end of July, then they have even more space. So, but that's also more upon franchise and not so much on the player. It is good to see that Davis did his part and he's such a good teammate to the rest of the Lakers in an attempt to go ahead and rebuild a little bit more. So, interesting stuff. Really looking forward to go ahead and tackle this day. As you guys know, have a happy Friday. And see you guys on Monday. Deuces, as you guys know. So big things. Hopefully this weekend brings us a lot. As you guys know, the free agency is coming up to go officially, and you know that we will be covering that here on this channel. So please go ahead, comment, subscribe, like the video if you like it. And that's pretty much it. Turn on the bells to keep up with daily news. As you guys know, we post Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, just giving you a recap of the news in about 30-minute segments. Also, there's an audio-only version of this available on all podcast services. So, again, that is BUZZER podcast. The official one is the one that has MVYO media attached to it. That way you guys can go ahead and differentiate it. Thank you guys again for watching, and have a great Friday. As part to this, James has agreed to give Anthony Davis the number 23. And he's looking into keeping the number 6 as he did with the Heat. So it's actually definitely good news that we want to go ahead and keep forward with. Do it. You know okay. So as you guys know, LeBron and AD have a relationship. They're very close friends. They're actually very close. And one of the main reasons why Anthony Davis ended up in the Lakers was due to this relationship that they have. So, they're actually doing Space Jam 2 together. If you guys didn't know, he's actually Davis is one of the stars there, and along with Damian Lillard, and a bunch of other players in the NBA. So, yeah. Due to this, as a thanks, LeBron's actually giving 23 to Anthony Davis. So there's no more speculation. There's no more things. As an act of gratitude, LeBron James has given up the number 23. And it's going to go back to the number 6 as he tied it with the Miami Heat. So, awesome news, guys. Great stuff coming. Major news. Now I want to go ahead and touch up on another story. So let me go ahead and pull it up real quick. That way I'm not all over the place. So Grant Hughes from Bleacher Report has come out with his predictions of top season target trades. So in this list, Chris Paul makes an appearance, as well as Jimmy Butler, Steven Adams, and a few names that you guys don't know about. Or not that you don't know about, but they're not really relevant nowadays. So let's go ahead and tackle that. Jump right into it. So Chris Paul, as you guys know, he's been having a feud with James Howard. James Howard recently, and they're not on the best of terms. So Chris Paul having a dominant personality, and Howard as well. Jesus Christ. So as you guys know, Chris Paul and James Harden are feuding. So it's been all over the news. CP3 is not happy. James Harden is not happy either. So they're trying to do something along the lines to address this. But the problem is that CP3 has a really big contract on his hands. So he's a 34-year-old player, and he has a $124 million for the next 3 seasons. Big numbers. Huge. This is insane. So that being said, it's really hard to go ahead and trade into a different agency. We've seen other players do it, such as Blake Griffin. He got signed for a Supermax with the Clippers, and almost immediately within his first season got traded over to the Detroit Pistons. So it's not something that can happen. It's just very highly unlikely. I mean, on that note, Blake Griffin's a way younger player as opposed to Chris Paul. Chris Paul is, again, in his 34th, he's 34. He's heading into the downside of his career. He's still a great point guard, by all means. But in all reality, he's not really a great fit for any roster at the moment. Another guy that we're going to go ahead and talk about on this list is Jimmy Butler. Because you guys know, the news has been buzzing about how Jimmy Butler could potentially go to the Houston Rockets as well. We all know that Daryl Morey has had interest in Butler, and they've been trying to, or the Rockets agency has been trying to, the Rockets franchise has been trying to acquire Jimmy Butler ever since Minnesota. So there's no surprise there, to be honest with you. Jimmy Butler is a great player. Everybody has their opinion on it, but in all reality, Jimmy Butler is a great player, and he has a lot to offer to the team. I personally think that he would be a really good fit as a player with the 76ers. With the Rockets, but I also see where it could cause more problems, because you add gas to the fire. Pretty combustible, you know what I mean? So again, it could happen. Based on his predictions, he thinks that he's gonna stay with the Sixers. I think that the Sixers is a really good space for him. One of the top teams in the Eastern Conference for sure. And they're looking to more or less keep the same squad that they had, and which they took them to the finals this year. So you know what I mean? It wouldn't happen. I think that this is more like a move from Jimmy Butler to try to get a bigger deal by scaring the Philly. But it is what it is. Let's see. Another one that he speaks about is Bradley Beal from the Washington Wizards. Beal's been tossed around. The names has gone around from team to team. Lakers are actually lined up to meet with him when free agency starts, and there's some potential there. They really see him as a good shooter. He's a good shooting guard, and That's something that the Lakers need. So he's not a bad option. He's not a supermax type of deal, contract deal. So it's a good fit. He has a budget of around 22 million, if I'm not mistaken, which falls right in line with what the Lakers are looking to do, or what they can afford at the moment. So that's probably their supermax player. If there is anybody, you know what I mean, if they can go for someone. Another real good candidate for that would be who we spoke about earlier, Russell, D'Lo. D'Lo's around that price range as well, so he would be a perfect candidate. On top of that, D'Lo's a lot younger, so just something to know. Based on his prediction, Beal stays and could be traded later. Another guy is Steve Adams from the Oklahoma City Thunders. So Steve Adams is a great center. He's been around with OKC for a while now. He's been doing numbers since OKC had Durant, Ibaka, Harden, Russell, like that first initial squad since they became the Supersonics. He's been around since that time. So OKC is looking to trade him, and the potential trade would be the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics are losing Al Horford, which is a great big player on the franchise. So replacing him with Adams doesn't seem like a bad move. That's actually a really good play. I think that Adams is cut off for Boston. He's very off the radar and very dedicated player. You know what I mean? So he's not really buzzing all the time. I think he's a great fit, honestly. He looks like the type of guy that would... He's a team player, obviously. He's a team player. So that goes without saying. You know what I mean? He's a dedicated individual. And I think Boston's a good fit for him. And last but not least, we have J.R. Smith. Yeah, J.R. Smith. So J.R. Smith is actually going into free agency as well. Not only to be traded, he's not only contending to be traded, but he's in play for free agency as well. So J.R. Smith is, as you guys know, he was playing for Cleveland. He had a great season, with LeBron. He's been given a lot of negative feedback due to some plays that went down more towards the playoffs. But in all reality, he's not a bad player. He did his stuff, he did his numbers, and potentially what they're trying to do is once he goes into free agency, or once the contract is up, the Lakers are looking to probably grab him as a filler player alongside with Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo hasn't played since November 8th of the past year, but again, he's just a filler player. He come off the bench, give you 10 points, 15 points. Not a starter by any means, not an all-star. But again, you're sending these guys for bare bone veterans. That's what you need. And the Lakers right now have to fill. So why not fill with older players that already have chemistry and have proven over and over again that they play good with LeBron. LeBron could house it. LeBron could distribute. LeBron can work with a team of this caliber. So, yeah, I think it's a good move. I think it's very strong. And I think that the Lakers will be picking up Carmelo Anthony and J.R. Smith in the upcoming season. All right, you guys. So that is all for today. I want to go ahead and thank you guys for going ahead and tuning into this video. If you guys did like the content, please feel free to like the video, comment your thoughts on what we spoke about today, and subscribe. Also, we're going to be doing a poll of where do you think that D'Angelo Russell and Kyrie Irving are going to go in the season, and then the next coming season. So go ahead and vote up there. Click the little icon, the eye icon up here. Actually, yeah. So that being said, without further ado, I'm gonna let you guys go. Be sure to. So yeah, without further ado, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to hit the bell icon to be notified on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for new content on what's happening in the NBA. Other than that, you can go ahead and if you guys are on the road, if you guys are driving, feel free to go ahead and tune in to the podcast version of this, available across all podcast platforms at Post Buzzer Podcast. All right, so thank you, and see you guys on Wednesday.